What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Ghost Ship, directed by Stephen Beck. The story of Ghost Ship is as follows. The salvage crew finds an ocean liner in the middle of the Bering Sea, and they go to explore and investigate it. However, unbeknownst to them, supernatural elements are at foot, and they start to get picked off one by one. So yeah, that's the overall story of Ghost Ship. Let's briefly talk about this movie. So I remember seeing this movie 20 years ago when this thing first came out. It's really hard to believe this movie is now 20 years old. I remember liking it then, and I still like it now. To me, Ghost Ship is just a fun, little, cheesy ghost story type of movie that is backed by a pretty decent cast and an interesting story. Ghost Ship will not go down as one of the greatest things ever made, because it's not. The original concept that was pitched could have been something cool. Instead, they went for a more conventional slasher instead of a more unique psychological thriller that is heavily influenced by The Shining. I think the original idea would have been one hell of a movie instead of what they actually ended up doing, because what they ended up going with, they just went with a very safe slasher type of vibe, and you can tell that a movie like this, with the story that it was trying to tell, it wasn't meant to be a slasher. It was meant to be something more psychological, something a little more akin to, something like I said, something more akin to The Shining, where, these people are going to suffer from cabin fever and panic. Or maybe something else will cause to their hysteria. Instead, what we got was just more basic bare bones. Not to say that what's in this movie is bad, because it ain't. Like I said, you overall have a very decent cast. That includes Juliana Margulies, Ron Elrod, Desmond Harrington, Isaiah Washington, and Gabriel Byrne. I thought they all play their roles extremely well. You also have Carl Urban in this movie as well, and it's always fun to see Carl Urban. And I liked Carl Urban in this movie. I thought he was hilarious. I liked the chemistry with the actor who played the character of Dodge. The characters of Dodge and Munder were my unsung heroes of this movie. They had great comedic bantering back and forth, and I just thought both those characters were cool. So, like I said, you have a decent cast. You have some decent characters that are played by solid actors. At least they're halfway memorable. The character of Murphy, played by Gabriel Byrne, he's memorable as being the ship's captain, and the movie also hinting at the fact that he might have an alcohol problem. You have the character of Epps. She's cool. She comes across more like a Ripley type of character. Now, Margulies doesn't have the same charisma as a Sigourney Weaver, but she's not a bad actress. She's fine in this movie. Though I do think there are elements where she could be phoning it in some areas, or I just don't find her believable. But at the end of the day, she didn't do a piss poor job. She did an adequate job. Desmond Harrington, who plays this mysterious guy who finds the ocean liner, who brings it to Murphy's crew, it's overall revealed that he has a connection to what happened to the ship in 1962. So basically, once the supernatural stuff starts to really kick in, and the crew starts to go down one by one. One character named Greer, attempts to bring a ghost, and he actually falls to his death. And you have the characters of Munder and the characters of Munder and Dodge. They go down as well. But once all this happens, it's revealed that the character of Ferryman, who, like I said, who gave the tip to Murphy, it's revealed that he's actually a hell demon, who, because he committed so much sins, is now stuck on Earth. And once he fills a quota, he can return back to hell. So he's basically using the Antonia Garza, the abandoned ship, as this passageway to claim the souls, because the ship has got a hidden loot. It's revealed that Ferryman took this loot on the ship on purpose, with the intent to pretty much use their greed to stay on the ship and to pretty much be one of his entrapped souls. The movie is kind of flimsy at revealing this a little bit, and like I said, I think this movie should have stuck with the original ideas, and I think the character of Ferryman being this soul collector could have been very interesting if this movie would have had a spin on the seven deadly sins, and he's collecting everyone's soul based on a sin that they want to do with the stolen loot. I think that could make for a more psychological, more deeper psychological movie, and he could have offed these guys and he could have offed these guys in some pretty creative and interesting ways. That's just how I thought. That's just me personally. But what we got, it's paint by numbers, standard slasher stuff. You can't really do so much experimentation when your movie is when a ghost story is handcuffed to having a slasher vibe to it. It is what it is. In terms of the production values, I think Stephen Beck did an okay job at directing this movie. It does have some good atmosphere to it. It does have some good suspense. I like the overall look of the derelict ghost ship. It looks pretty creepy, yet something also very interesting. This movie has a lot of CGI, and it looks bad. This is a low budget movie, and the CGI looks bad. There are times where you can clearly tell that the actors are in front of a green screen, and it does not look good at being masked whatsoever. I think these guys should have gone more the practical route and not have blown their wad on CG, because it don't look good. It don't look good. Another thing that I like the prologue, where we actually see the ghost ship alive with its passengers, and we see what happens to them. Of course, this prologue gets expanded upon later on in the movie when the ghost of a child who's been helping Epps all throughout the movie, kind of shows her in a flashback what exactly happened on this ghost ship, and it's revealed that Ferryman pretty much convinced all the crew members to kill the passengers, and we get this good little gory montage of the slaughter happening. And, it was fun for what it is. I like the scene. And, of course, this is what leads to the climax where Epps thinks she kills Ferryman, but it's revealed that Ferryman is not dead, and he's just taking his gold to jump to another ship. So, yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Ghost Ship. At the end of the day, like I said, I like this movie. It's nothing special or spectacular, but it is entertaining. It's a quick watch. It ain't boring. I'm going to give it a solid 6 out of 10. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Ghost Ship. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.